and welcome to another video. In this video we'll learn how to style buttons. Buttons are one of the most common HTML elements used in web design. So this video will be very useful. We'll teach you the ins and outs and how to style a button. So in our demo right here, I have a section with a class of cart and nothing inside of it. So to get started, first of all, let's add some button. Inside of this button, I'm using a span. And inside of this span, we'll add the text for this button. Let's call this one a button. Save it. As you can see right here in the browser, by default, the browser will style this button, but usually we'll need to define your own styles for your buttons. So right here, I can use the button selector right here inside of our style.cs, or I can create a class and call it a button. You can use this class. Let's say you want to style an anchor tag or an input of type submit as a button. You can use this class right here to style them as a button. So inside of our CSS, the first thing I want to do is make this button bigger. You can do that by using a padding. I'm using relative values, so 0.8 amps for top and bottom and 1.5 amps from left and right. As I do that, you can see now the button is bigger. And then I want the text alignment to be center. The text transform will be capitalized. I'm using text decoration with the value of none. As I said, if you want to create the anchor tag as a button, by default, you know, a text inside of an anchor tag will have an underscore. By using this text decoration with none, will remove that default style. After that, I want the font weight to be normal. The letter spacing, this will be 0.0 rams, 0.09 rams. Rams is another relative value. This means that this button will have its letter spacing relative to the HTML tag. You know, the HTML is the root tag, so rem is a value relative to the root element. After that, I want to use this white space property with the value of no wrap. This will prevent, let's say if you want a button to have a longer text, this property right here will prevent, with the value of no wrap, will prevent letter breaking. So if you have a longer text, that text won't be breaking. And let's give it a background color. For this color, I want to use the hash value, so D09A8F. Save it. And let's do something about this border. Let's use the border property and make it a smaller border. For that, I'm using 0.5 pixel solid, and the color will be a gray color, so hash BBB. Save it, and let's also give it a border radius, so let's make this corner a little bit rounded. For that, I'm using 0.5 ram. Save it, and finally, let's make the color for the text, so come right here. Let's make the color for the text. This color will be white. Save it. Now you have your button style. Another thing I want to show you, you usually have to handle the button states. So for that, let's add a little animation. When the user hovers this button, I want the background color to be changed to a darker color. For that, you can use this button class, button selector, and in combination with the hover pseudo element. So hover. When the user hovers this button, I want the background color to change. So I'm using a darker version of the background color. So this darker version will be hash 4D243D. Save it. When you hover this button, you can see the little animation right here that's showing that this button is being hovered. And also let's add a style, so when the user hovers this button, instead of you have this arrow for the mouse, let's have a hand. You can use the cursor property with the value of pointer. So save it. When the user hovers it, you can see now it's showing a hand right here. Another style that you can add to a button is having a button with icons So for that, let's add another button, and right here inside of this, after the text, I'm adding another pen with a class for Bootstrap icon. Right here in our link right here, I'm using Content Delivery Network to insert this Bootstrap icon library. I have a link on the description below. You can watch that video that will teach you how you can insert it, how to use it, and how to insert the icons dynamically using CSS. So let's save it. As you can see right here, I have an icon right here. I'm using this pen again. So let's say I want to style this icon later on. I can target this pen and style this icon right here. And for that, actually, let's add another class. Let's call btn icon. We will target this class to style this icon right here. Let's make it center and a little bit bigger. So come right here in our style sheets. Let's paste this class right here, and let's make it sure that this class will only be used when we are targeting a button or we are using the .button class. So as I said, I want to make it bigger, so let's change the font size. The font size will be 1M. Save it, and then let's add a margin. Top and bottom will be 0 pixel, and left and right will be 4 pixel. So you can see we have a little space between the text and the icon now. And just to make sure, when you are working with the Bootstrap class for the icons, you have to make your font family become Bootstrap icons. Save it. So normally when we are styling buttons, you have a primary button, a secondary button, a disable button, and so on. So let me show you how you can create it. Let's make a copy of this first button right here, and then let's paste it, and let's add another class right here. Let's call this one primary button. Usually, if you are using Bootstrap for your project, you can see that primary buttons usually have a blue color. So let's do the same thing for this button right here. So let's make sure that the button -primary will be only used when we are targeting a button selector or our button class. So that you use the button selector and that .primary button. Let's give it a comma, and now let's target the button class .primary button. Right here, we want to give it a background color, and that let's use a blue color. For that, I use the hash 1876E8. Save it. This is a blue color. As I save it, you can see now you have your primary button. This is your normal button, and this one is the primary one. Let's do the same thing. Let's copy this CSS style. Let's paste it. And now when the user hover our primary button, we want to add some animation by changing the background color. So let's give it a darker color for this blue right here. The value will be 0.561F4. Save it. When you hover this button, you can see the darker blue showing right here. And finally, as I said before, you can, because we are using this button class, you can make your anchor tag a button. So let's do that. Let's add an anchor tag. Let's give href a pound, then remove this target blank. Let's also remove this property right here. We don't need it. So let's copy this pen with text. Let's call this link button, and just give this anchor tag this button class. Save it. As you can see right here, you have your anchor tag style as a button, and if you want them to be also a primary button, you can come right here and give it a class of primary button. Save it, and now your anchor tag is also a primary button. So this is it for this video. Of course, you can add more styles. As I said, you can create your secondary button, disable button, and apply your style. But this is very useful introduction to how to style button. So this is it for this video. If you find this video useful, please give it a like and consider subscribe to help our channel. See you on the next one.